Hi beautiful friends, welcome to Sanita Makes Crochet Items. Today is March 3rd, 2026, and I'm going to attempt something all day today. It is now 9:45. I'm going to give myself till 10 a.m. Central Standard Time to start this star blanket for my son. Now I'm gonna give myself 8 hours to work on it, and wherever it lands at 8 hours, that's how big it's gonna be, and that's what he's gonna get. So don't mind that back there, not sponsored, but if you need to know, that's my favorite drink. Okay, long story short, I'm going to work it up in this mystery yarn that I purchased from VJ, from Ashley's auction. It's 1 so we'll see how big this gets. But then I'm going to keep going and add this Himalayan DK Merino. Superwash Merino, 45% acrylic. And the color gray. So I'm gonna add these two together. This is a 4-weight, this is a 3-weight, so we'll see how it goes. And I'm gonna use my new hooks that I just recently got. You guys want to see what it is? Ta-da! Ta-da! It's the Pearls Honesty, and it is super light. Now, I've already used the 5.0 on one of the other blankets that I use, and it works very well for the single crochets. I haven't really tried the double crochets, which this pattern is all about double crochets. So, long story short, I'm going to use probably the 5.5. Yeah, the 5.5. And look at, it's got like a little shimmer to it. What? You gotta go outside? I'm trying to tell my friends on my new toys. Anyway, the 5 and the 5.5 is most likely what I'm gonna use in my handy dandy pouch holder. And I do have my, that was the Clover Amours inside the zipper part. I think there's 4.5 up to the 6 inside there with the scissors. But I'm using this 5 right now for the center. Oh. And 14. All right, so I'm not very much of a inline girl, but these are working up pretty nicely, if I say so myself. And maybe I can get 8 hours in. It is now 9:55, so 5 minutes early. My goal is to, in the next, let's say, hour, by 10:45, let's shoot for completing the setup row. Yeah, let's do that. We can do that. I think so. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes and I've gotten to almost this row, but because I'm doing the chains, it keeps snagging on the hook. So I'm gonna probably go back to my clovers until I get to the single crochets. So this works very well with the single crochets, but everything else is kind of like splitting the yarn. I think it's because of the way that I hold my hook. So yeah, just so that I can kind of get this blanket on the move, because like I said, I'm only giving myself 8 hours. Oh, first Tuesday of the month. Tornado sirens. That's what you hear if you. Okay, so that was 10 minutes. It took me to do the first, second, and third row. And I'm going to switch to the 5.5 in my clover hook to finish the setup row. And then maybe I can beat the 10:45 timeline. What are you doing, bud? And instead of the chains, I am doing the mock double. Three. There we go. So 10:05. Okay, so it is now 10:13. So I got 2 more minutes, but because it's kind of curvy, I'm gonna move up to a 6. That's just how it works. And so that was only one row, and that basically took 10 minutes. Technically, yeah, because it's 10:14. We just switched to another minute, so 10:15. We'll do a couple more rows, but I'm gonna turn the camera off and just focus. You know, get her done. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know if because this yarn is a little older and it's been handled multiple times, but it's splitting a lot. Maybe it wasn't the hook. Maybe it's the yarn. Who knows? But this is the pattern it's making. He said, grace. I want grace. Okay, so it's 10:25 and I got another row done. So it's roughly about 10 minutes a row. But now that I've gotten to the rows with the single crochets, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my stitch markers. So I put a stitch mark at each peak, so I kind of know where I'm going with that. But because this is, I need 7 stitch markers. 1, 4, 6, 7. All right, I'm gonna use orange, and then I started one with my start is gonna have white. But basically, I'm just gonna go around and do the stitch markers when it gets to the peak. Okay, so I put a stitch marker in the middle stitch, and then just go down the row and just single crochet. 8, and here I'm at the peak. So do 1, add a stitch marker. 2 and 3, and keep going. It is 8:28. Okay, so 10:35. It's taking me 10 minutes for each row, even doesn't matter what it is. But anyway, long story short, I'm almost done with this setup. I got 3 more rows to do. So technically, I'm probably not gonna make it. So that's another 30 minutes. So by 11, an hour to do the setup row, I would say. But I gotta take a break. I gotta get a urination station break. USB. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a break and then go and start the next 3 rows for the setup row. And then I don't know, should I? We're gonna go ahead and start. It is 10:40. Three, 4, and then 5 in the middle. That's why I have the stitch mark. 10:50. Starting the next row, and this setup should be done hopefully after this row. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To the stitch marker, put in 2. Move up the stitch marker, and then 3 more in that same stitch. Five. Okay, I'm on row 8. I have 1 more row for the setup row, which is a single crochet row. It is 11 o'clock, so technically this took me an hour. I'm gonna give myself another 15 minutes to do row 9, and then I'm not gonna record anymore. I'll probably record the start time of repeat 1 and the end time of repeat 1, so I kind of have a rough idea. Actually, I'm gonna write it down because I have the stay star blanket repeat notes, and I'll just write it down. It is what it is. Anyway, long story short. Alright friends, we are at the end of the setup row, and I'm not really feeling this color work, but I'm just gonna let it go because I have all this, and I was gonna kind of stop and start. Maybe I'll still do it, but who knows, to kind of break up this. It kind of looks tie-dye though, but I wanted to just do as much as I can with this and see how many rows I can get with it, but I'm gonna stay with that because I'm not trying to sew in ends. So setup row, I started at 9:45. It is now 11:25, and basically, long story short, I'm gonna give myself, count it as 2 hours. Technically, it's like an hour and a half, but this is where I'm at. So I'm gonna turn on General Hospital and work on repeat 1, rows 2 through 7. So I will see you guys around in these. Thank you for watching. As always, love yourself so you can love everyone else, and maybe we'll make this a little series. The 8-hour 6-day blanket by Betty McNitt's. Can I get it done in a day? I don't know. Technically 8 hours. A work day. We'll put it at that. Have a great day.